Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to take a tour of one of the most incredible nonstop factories in the entire universe, and it's running inside you right now. We're talking about your body's red blood cell factory, so let's dive right in.
Okay, let's just start with a number that is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing. 2.5 billion. That is roughly how many new red blood cells your body is churning out per kilogram of your body weight every single day. That is just an absolutely staggering level of production.
So what's the official name for this whole process? It's called erythropoiesis, and it's one of those great scientific words that actually tells you exactly what it means if you break down the Greek roots. Erythros means red, and poiesis means to make. So it's literally red making, the creation of our red blood cells, which are also called erythrocytes. Right. So why is this process so incredibly critical? Well, because these cells create a literal river of life inside of us. Their main job, their whole purpose, is to ferry oxygen from your lungs to every single cell and tissue in your body. They are, without a doubt, absolutely essential for our survival. Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. You'd think a factory this important would be in one fixed spot, right? But the location of erythropoiesis, it actually moves around. It changes pretty dramatically as we grow and develop. When we're just starting out as a tiny fetus, production actually begins in a place called the yolk sac. Then, from about the 2nd to the 5th month of gestation, the liver and the spleen take over as the main production hubs. But after that 5-month mark, the factory relocates to its final, primary location for the rest of our lives, the bone marrow. And you might be thinking, oh, so it's happening in all my bones now? Well, not quite. Even in adults, the production really centralizes in the core of our skeleton. The main factories are chugging away in the bone marrow of our vertebra, our ribs, our sternum, our pelvis, and the very top part of our thigh bones, the femur. All right, so let's get inside one of these factories. What does the assembly line actually look like? How does a generic jack-of-all-trades stem cell turn into this highly specialized oxygen supercarrier? It's a pretty wild transformation, let me tell you. It all kicks off with this sort of master stem cell, the hemocytoblast. It gets the signal and commits to becoming a red blood cell. It then turns into a normal blast, and its only job is to furiously build hemoglobin. And then, and this is the craziest part, it does something dramatic. It literally spits out its own nucleus, just ejects it to make more room for all that hemoglobin. Now it's called a reticulocyte. Finally, it gets rid of its last few internal parts and becomes a mature erythrocyte, ready to go to work for the next 120 days. This table really breaks it down nicely. As we go down the line, you can see the cell gets smaller and smaller. But check out the color of the cytoplasm. It goes from blue to this pinkish red as it just crams itself full of that iron-rich hemoglobin. And of course, the most dramatic change of all, that large active nucleus is just gone, completely ejected. Of course, you can't run a factory on thin air, right? You need raw materials. And for making red blood cells, two of the most critical ingredients are vitamin B12 and folate. See, these are absolutely essential for the cells to divide properly on that assembly line. Without enough of them, the whole production process just falters. Okay, but this brings up a really important question. If we're making billions of these cells every single day, how in the world does the body know exactly how many to produce? How does the factory get its orders to either speed up production or ease off the gas? Well, the answer is in this unbelievably elegant feedback system. I mean, think about it. Let's say you move to a city at a higher altitude, where the air is thinner, or maybe you donate blood. In both cases, your body needs to ramp up red blood cell production, and it needs to do it fast. How does it get that message? Well, the master signal, the big memo from headquarters, comes from a hormone called erythropoietin. You'll probably just hear it called EPO for short. This is the primary order that tells the bone marrow to get to work. And this is where things get really clever. It's all about this beautiful feedback loop. So it starts with your kidneys. They act as these incredibly sophisticated oxygen sensors. When they detect that oxygen levels in the blood are getting low, a state called hypoxia, they respond by releasing more EPO. EPO travels through the blood to the bone marrow and basically hits the accelerator on red blood cell production. As all these new cells enter circulation, oxygen levels start to rise. The kidneys sense this improvement, and in response, they scale back on EPO secretion. It's just a perfect self-regulating system. But you know what happens when this perfectly balanced system breaks down? What if the factory produces too little, Or what if it goes into overdrive and produces way too much? This is where we see the direct link to a number of human health issues. So, on one side of the coin, if the factory's underproducing, you get a condition called anemia. With too few red blood cells or not enough hemoglobin, your body just can't get the oxygen it needs, and that leads to that classic feeling of fatigue and weakness. Now, on the flip side, if the factory goes haywire and starts overproducing, that leads to polycythemia. Too many red blood cells can actually make your blood thick and sludgy, which dramatically increases the risk of dangerous blood clots. And if we dig into the common causes of anemia, they line up perfectly with our factory analogy. First, you could just be missing the raw materials, a lack of building blocks like iron, folate, or vitamin B12. Or you could have a failure of the stimulus signal. This happens a lot in chronic kidney disease, where the damaged kidneys just can't produce enough EPO. And finally, you could have a failure of the factory itself, like in a condition called aplastic anemia, where the bone marrow just stops working correctly.
Now, because EPO is such a powerful stimulus, it unfortunately has a bit of a notorious history as a performance-enhancing drug in sports. And this quote here really nails why. By injecting synthetic EPO, athletes can basically hijack this natural system. They can artificially boost their red blood cell count, which means more oxygen gets delivered to their muscles, giving them a major and illegal endurance advantage.
So when you boil it all down, this whole process, erythropoiesis, it's the silent, tireless, and absolutely vital process running inside you. This factory is on the clock 24/7, from before you were even born, and it'll keep going until your last day. Which really leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to consider. What are you doing to keep your factory running smoothly?